Happy holidays to everyone. It's hard to believe that the holiday season is upon us once again, and we bring to a close another successful year for the North Dakota National Guard, 2013. We continue to be a nation at war, and we continue to mobilize and deploy our soldiers and airmen throughout the world in support of our nation. As we speak, we have about 400 of our soldiers and airmen somewhere in the world supporting the defense of this great nation. Today, we only have 2 soldiers in the Middle East, both in Kuwait. Today, we also have our Air National Guard members of the 119th Wing at Fargo that are engaged in the Predator mission 24 hours a day. And we have about 35 of our soldiers that are at Fort Hood. And we have over 200 soldiers in the National Capital Region, Washington, D.C. area, protecting our nation's capital. And we have 3 soldiers on the southwest border, part of that important mission for our nation. During 2013, we also welcomed home a number of our soldiers and airmen that were deployed overseas. We had the opportunity to welcome home members of the 191 MP Company that were deployed to Guantanamo, Gitmo. We also welcomed home members of the 1919th Contract Team that were in Afghanistan and Kuwait. And there were airmen for the 119th Security Forces Squadron that were deployed to Afghanistan that we welcomed home. We also welcomed home soldiers of the 818th Engineer Company from Williston and Hazen who served in Afghanistan, sadly without Sergeant First Class Darren Lindy and Specialist Tyler Orgard. And finally, just recently, we welcomed home the soldiers that were members of the Detachment 42, our fixed-wing aircraft that were deployed to Afghanistan. As we welcome home soldiers and airmen, we're also in the process of continuing to mobilize and prepare soldiers and airmen for deployments in the coming year. Soon, members of the 814th Medical Detachment will mobilize and eventually deploy to Afghanistan in January. As we reflect back on 2013, in addition to the challenges that our airmen, our soldiers, and our families face with mobilization and deployments, our organization faced many other challenges, but once again, we did very well in facing those challenges. One of the first that comes to mind is the challenge that we as a nation face with our budget. In 2013, we learned what sequestration meant, and we learned what the impact of the budget reduction requirements would be to our organization. Unfortunately, in August, many of our military technicians were furloughed for a number of days, and then in October, we were faced with a government shutdown that also impacted our military technicians, furloughing them for several days and in some cases over 2 weeks. It also caused us to postpone drills, and it caused us to put on hold some of the training that's necessary to keep us a ready force, ready for whatever we are asked to do by the governor or by the president. But I was proud of how our soldiers and our airmen and their families faced those challenges, be it sequestration, budget cutting, furloughs. Our people always knew that they were continuing to do what they had to do in support of our nation's defense, and I thank our soldiers and airmen for what they did during this difficult time. As we look to January, we don't know what the impact of the budget will be. We're in the process now of trying to determine what the future will hold for all of us, but I can assure you that as we look to the future, we'll continue to do everything we can to maintain our force in North Dakota, to maintain the state of readiness that we need as a military to be prepared for those missions that we are asked to do. 2 other huge challenges that we face as an organization, as the North Dakota National Guard, are suicide and sexual assault and sexual abuse. When we talk about suicide, what's most important is that we reach out to one another. If at any time you're having difficulty in your life, it's okay to ask for help. It's a sign of courage to ask for help. And if each of you as a soldier or airman sees that someone else is struggling, don't hesitate to ask them about what's their difficulty in their life. Don't hesitate to show that you care about who they are as a soldier, as an airman, as an individual. And by all means, don't hesitate to escort them to get help. In the North Dakota National Guard, we have the resources available to help our soldiers and airmen and our family members too. We have our chaplains, we have our social workers, we have our professionals that know how to reach out and help and take care of our soldiers and airmen. In the North Dakota National Guard, in the military, we have zero tolerance for sexual assault and sexual abuse. If at any time you see a situation that's evolving, that's developing, where someone may be hurt, someone may be injured because of sexual assault, please bring it to a halt. Please reach out and help one another. I'd ask that each of you treat one another with the utmost of dignity and respect. We care about our soldiers, our airmen, and our families, and we need to continue to show that care in everything we do, whether it's on duty or off duty. Treating one another with dignity and respect is one of the most important things we can do. As I mentioned earlier, we face tremendous challenges with the budget and the military in this country. In the Army National Guard, there's a lot of discussion about what's the proper balance between the active component and the National Guard. Where do we get the best value for the dollar? Today, the adjutants general from all across the country are working together very closely to ensure that the best value for America, the National Guard, is put into place. And as we compete for resources with the active component, we want to ensure that we have adequate resources for the National Guard. During the last 12 years, the National Guard has proven its readiness, has proven its capability to carry on the nation's warfight, and has proven that it is equal to, and in many instances better, than the active component. As a result, the adjutants generals are making the argument that we need to maintain a strong and ready force within the Army National Guard. Here in North Dakota, as we look to the future, I know that there are going to be changes. There will be changes all across the country. But I can assure you that we're going to maintain adequate force structure so that each of you can continue to have a future and a career in the North Dakota Army National Guard. When we look at the training resources that we have available, during this last year, I had to make some tough decisions about closing armories. And as you know, 2 of our armories, Cavalier and Hazen, had to be closed. We'll continue to look at our resources. We'll continue to ensure that we have what we need for you to be able to be well-trained and ready for the mission, whether it's here within the state of North Dakota or somewhere in the world in the global war on terror. And throughout all of this, we will always keep you informed about what we know is the future for you and for the units in the North Dakota Army National Guard. During this past 12 months, the North Dakota Army National Guard has been recognized time and time again for its outstanding performance, for its professionalism. I had the honor of being present when members of the 188th Engineer Company were recognized at Fort Leonard Wood for the best NCO of the year, the best Warrant Officer of the year, the best platoon leader, which is the Sturgis Award, and the best unit, the Itchner Award. No other unit came close to the 188th in terms of its excellence and performance in the previous 12 months. We also competed very well with our marksmen that competed regionally and will be competing nationally. Several of our marksmen were within the top tier of marksmen from all across the country. And our maintenance is second to none. Our CSMS was first in the country, and our Deuce was ranked number 5 in the country in terms of its readiness and its ability to carry out its mission. This past year, our medical unit received the Army Superior Unit Award, and also one of our officers received the Kilbourne Leadership Award. Truly, the members of the North Dakota National Guard are best at everything they do and are recognized all across the country. And our biathlon team, which is made up of both soldiers and airmen, placed first in the nation. One of the other major accomplishments that I saw this past year is that for the first time for many, many years, all of our chaplains' positions were filled. That was a huge accomplishment in my mind for us to be able to take care of our soldiers and our families all across the state. And in this next year, we're going to celebrate the 10th anniversary of our state partnership with Ghana. What's significant about our state partnership is that we have done extremely well in the past with our military-to-military events, both in Ghana and here in North Dakota. And we're at a point now where the civilians are engaged as well. The North Dakota state partnership with Ghana is looked upon from all across the country as a model partnership on how we need to move forward in our relations with other countries in the world. 2013 was a difficult year for the 119th Wing at Fargo. It was in August of 2013 that the last C-21 was flown from Hector Field to a museum in the East. And for our happy hooligans, it was the end of an era of more than 60 years of manned aircraft flight from Hector Field. During that time, our 119th Wing, our happy hooligans, excelled at every opportunity to demonstrate their proficiency and their professionalism. But as we look to the future continues to be bright. As we look to the future, I know that our airmen will make that transition from the manned flight of the past to the missions of the future. Recently, we stood up the Intelligence Targeting Group, a new mission for the National Guard. Today, we have some of our airmen that are at school learning all about that mission. They'll be home soon and will continue to build upon what they've learned and continue to demonstrate why the Happy Hooligans, why the 119th Wing is the best in the country. This past year, the Happy Hooligans of the 119th received their 15th Outstanding Air Unit of the Year award. No other unit has won as many that I'm aware of anywhere in the country. At Minot, the forces of the 219th Security Forces Squadron became the first National Guard unit to take over the security of the nuclear missile mission. No one else has done that either, and once again it demonstrates how great our airmen are at whatever we ask of them. And for all of those of you that are members of the Predator mission, you know how important and how critical that is to our nation's defense. That mission has been underway now since 2007, and North Dakota is used as a model for others to demonstrate how well the National Guard can carry out that very important mission. In closing, my family and I thank you for everything you do in support of the defense of our nation and in support of the people of North Dakota. You truly make a difference in the lives of others as you carry out your mission as members of the North Dakota Army and Air National Guard. During this holiday season, let us not forget those soldiers, those airmen, those Marines, and those sailors that are deployed overseas. Please keep them in your thoughts and prayers and their families during this holiday season. And also, let us not forget the families of those loved ones that have lost their lives in the global war on terror and in previous wars as well. We must always remember their service and sacrifice and never forget their loved one. May you have a blessed holiday season. May the coming weeks and months be great for you and your family. God bless each of you. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season, and I wish you a happy 2014.
The sayings in Fargo-Moorhead area is that you were, are, or will be a happy hooligan. What an organization and what a tradition. What an asset to our state and nation. I am confident that you and the other members of this distinguished organization are destined to bring more accolades and honors to the hooligans than ever before. For you all understand, whatever the challenge, whatever the mission, whatever the aircraft, it matters not. I salute you.